Welcome to Bits and Pieces Quilting. Today I am at my mom's. This is Mom.
Hi.
Hi, Mom.
Hi.
And we are going to talk about rulers. So stay tuned. Hi, I'm Michelle, and today I am with my mom in London, Ontario. Jason and I have arrived back in Canada, and while my sewing machine is being shipped, I am thrilled to dig into Mom's quilting supplies. And today we are going to talk about her ruler collection. So, Mom, what's your favorite ruler?
The 9-inch wedge ruler.
This is such a unique ruler, and wait until I show you what Mom makes out of these rulers. It's very, very cool. And I have discovered a new little treat and puzzle inside Mom's quilt collection. This is another set of puzzle templates. So you've already seen me use a different set of puzzle templates, but I've found another one and I'm very excited. So let's dive into Mom's ruler collection and see what we've got. I thought I'd start this overview of Mom's ruler collection with the good old standby everyday rulers. So like in my collection, Mom has a 6x6 square, a 6x12 rectangle, and a fabulous 6x24-inch ruler. If you saw my video on quilt rulers, the good, the bad, the ugly, you'll know that this is the ruler I recommend if you can only afford to buy a single ruler, because this will do everything you need it to do. It's got a 45, a 60, and a 30-degree line here for cutting angles and triangles. It's got the great length, the great width. This is everything you could possibly need. But as I've also said before, this 6x12 is my all-time favorite. I use this all the time, and I can tell from, this is a bit roughed up, I can tell Mom uses this one all the time as well. And then a square is always handy for trimming things. Mom also has this quick line, which is really interesting. Unlike my OmniGrid, I think it was an OmniGrid. No, it wasn't an OmniGrid. I forget what it was called. Unlike my ruler that's black and white like this, that I actually find quite difficult to read, this one's really interesting because it actually has 1 inch, 2 inch, and 2.5 inch marks, and very few others. So it's actually really, really easy to read. And if you're cutting those standard sizes really, really regularly, this is a really interesting ruler to support that kind of work. And then finally, in the things that I've categorized as sort of the good everyday standard rulers, Mom has this great 15-inch square. So this is amazing if you're working with big blocks and you're trying to square them down. There are ways to use smaller rulers to butt them up against each other to get to a bigger size. But a nice 15-inch square, this is a bit of a luxury. I have a 12.5-inch square, which I really like and use a lot. But those extra couple of inches can make a world of difference if you're using some really big blocks. So these are Mom's standard rulers, fairly common in most quilting rooms, and also really, really useful. But let's jump into the ones that Mom and I have in common. So Mom has a Tri-Rex, and if you saw that video back in January, you'll know I have one of these that I really don't know how to use. So Mom has one too, and let's be honest, it doesn't look like it's been used. So something for both of us to think about and explore. Some of the viewers in my last video commented that they love the Tri-Rex, that it has all kinds of great design potential. So definitely something for us to explore in the coming weeks and months and years around the Tri-Rex. Mom also has a set of these super fun templates, and if you've seen some of my videos, you know I've used these a few times and really, really like them. I'm filming on Mom's dining room table, so I've got a little bit of a glare coming down. I can tilt this up a little to try and angle away the glare. These fun templates are great. They're designed for 10-inch squares, but if you've seen my videos, I try to show you ways to use just your regular yardage or even scraps to make some really fun designs. I made one where the A block was the same and gave us a really fun 4-pointed star. And then I used the E block to make a pinwheel, a very large pinwheel design, which turned out really dramatically and looked great. And I can absolutely see myself in the future using the D block to make a smaller pinwheel. And Mom has made some baby quilts out of this as well with some really fun kids fabrics. So this is a family favorite for sure. And when I was looking at Mom's rulers and templates, I found these, of course, but then I also found that she has another set. So look at these ones, much smaller, still a bunch of different interesting pieces, and I think there's some really cool potential with these ones. This B block, I think, is going to make a really interesting pinwheel to spin around in the blocks. And then the A block, this is interesting. There's a line in the middle of it here that you can actually turn the A block into two separate pieces, giving you even more scrappy potential. And these smaller sizes, I think, are going to make it easier for us to use even more of our scraps to make some really, really cool quilts. So maybe borrowing this sooner rather than later. Mom also has a tumbler template, and I'll put a photo in here of one of Mom's quilts using this. And you've seen some of the quilts that I've used. This is a great template if you really want to focus on the fabric. And if you've got some charm squares, this is a 5-inch tumbler template. It makes a really cute, quick and easy, scrappy quilt that still has quite a lot of interest because of this tumbling shape. And then I discovered in Mom's collection that she has the big brother to the tumbler template. You can see she hasn't used it because it's still got the paper on it. But this, I think, is going to be amazing to try with really large scale prints. If you really want to feature and focus on something, this, I think, has major potential. And I'm also really keen to see if these templates can somehow work together. If we can somehow make a few of these and pair them with these for a really interesting quilt design. So there's probably some testing and maybe some math involved, but I'm really keen to see what we can do with these templates together and then separately for the big one. And then finally, under the category of same but different, Mom has these really cool hexagon templates. So I recently did a video using my Daisy and Grace hexagon templates to make a denim, upcycled denim quilt, which I'm thrilled with. And Mom has these 3 different sizes of the hexagons. I think my Daisy and Grace size is smaller than this, but larger than this little one. So between the two of us, I think we have 4 different hexagon sizes. Like the tumbling blocks, I'm really interested in the math to see if we can somehow make maybe the small and the large work together, or if there's some sort of combination that'll let us vary the size of our hexagons. I don't know if that's possible. If there's any math whizzes out there that can tell me quickly whether that's going to work or not, I'd love to hear from you. But if not, I think that there's going to be some fun ways to explore how to use these templates. So that covers all the ones that are the same and different between our collections, and so much potential to play around with some of these really fun templates. Mom also has the 9-degree circle wedge ruler. And I'm going to zoom you out in a moment just to show you what Mom has made out of these. This looks a little intimidating, and the instruction sheet that it comes with has all kinds of fabulous ideas. But I can tell you from experience that this is not as scary as it looks and makes some very cool things. So let me pause the video, zoom you out, and I want to show you some of the table runners that Mom has made using this 9-degree wedge ruler. So this is the spiral table runner that Mom makes with the 9-degree wedge ruler. And she likes it so much that she's told me she's made upwards of 150 of these. Everyone we know, all of Mom's friends, all of our family, every cousin has one of these table runners from Mom because she really, really enjoys making them. And why not? Look how spectacular this is. Just the flow of colors. It's a Bargello style pattern, and it uses the 9-degree wedge ruler. So absolutely fabulous. But beyond the spiral table runner, I think there's all kinds of potential with this ruler and things that we can explore. So really keen to dig into this and see what else we can do with this really intriguing shape of a ruler. Mom has also made another table runner. Let me grab it. This time also with the triangles. I think this would probably work with the 9-degree wedge ruler, but in this case, Mom has used her 10-degree wedge ruler. So these are really cute. I think we could probably design a way to make them quilt as you go. Mom has made them Mom has made them as you would a traditional quilt, but I think there's a potential for quilt as you go with this kind of shape. And a 10-degree ruler isn't terribly different from a 9-degree ruler, but in terms of a 360-degree circle, you would need fewer pieces with a 10-degree ruler than with a 9-degree ruler. So opportunities here to explore how to use these. I think they're also very similar to a giant Dresden. So I'm not sure how those relate to each other, but something else to explore. I'm gonna let you admire that for one more moment while I pause the video and zoom you back in to talk about some of the other rulers we have here. So Mom is here with me filming, and she has just said this is in fact a quilt as you go. So a little bit of clarification there. I'll have to get her to show me how to do it, and maybe we'll film a video and show you how to make a quilt as you go triangle table runner. Stay tuned. Let me know down in the comments below if you'd be interested in that. We'll get Mom to teach us how to do it. All right, to round out Mom's ruler collection, we have a few more to talk about. The first is this one. It is a circle cutter or an arc cutter. This, I think, has some really interesting potential. The first thing that I thought of was bubbles. You imagine cutting perfect circles and putting those on some kind of a fish underwater themed quilt. I think that would be super cool. Circles are really hard to do really well. You can trace a coffee cup, you can trace a mug, you can trace something and then cut it out. But there's a lot of room for things to get a little wobbly, and I'm really interested to see if the precision cutting here makes a difference to getting those perfect circles. I can also imagine a kid's quilt or even something very modern with a really plain background and then a whole bunch of circles of different sizes fused on top. I think there's a lot of design potential for this. And then finally, for those Dresden plate templates that I've not used in my collection, and the potential for Dresdens out of the 9 and 10-degree rulers we have here, a small circle, using this to cut that circle to finish off those Dresdens. So I think this has a ton of different potential uses as a ruler and worth exploring. Mom also has these really interesting ones that I've never seen before, and I'm keen to learn more about. The Jewel Box Gem 5 and Gem 10. These are made by Phillips Fiber Art. And these look so intriguing. They come with this great instruction booklet with a free pattern inside to make a beautiful starred table runner. Lots of tips and tricks, other inspiration on the back. And we were on their website just the other night, and they have a number of free patterns as well to support their rulers. So this is a whole world of diamonds and triangles that I think will be worth exploring and seeing what we can do with these in Mom's collection. Mom likes to make smaller projects for the most part, table toppers, table runners, that sort of thing, and I think these kinds of things really lend themselves to that. So looking forward to exploring those with her. And then finally, she has 2 trimming tools that I'm not familiar with, and I'm really keen to see how we can better integrate these into our sewing. This one is called, what's this called? Deb Tucker's Square 2. So I think there's 2 different elements to this ruler. The first side is all about centering. And if you've ever tried to fussy cut something, this kind of a tool might be really useful to make sure that you're getting the image that you want perfectly centered in the square that you're working with. So that's really interesting. And then the other side is about perfectly squaring up the pieces for the economy block. It comes with some really detailed instructions, which is good so that we can understand all the different elements of the ruler and try and take better advantage of this here in Mom's collection. And then finally, one that I think is going to support the Trirex tools that we saw earlier in the video. This is the V block, and it is another trim down, square up tool just to help with precision. Because I'm not sure if you've ever had it happen to you. It happens to me all the time, where things are a little bit off and then they compound across an entire project. So the more that things can be accurate and precise at each step in the construction phase, the better off the final result will be. So this is another tool for us to explore how to improve the precision across all of our projects. Thank you very much for watching this video on Mom's Ruler Collection. I think we've got a lot to play with and a lot to explore.
And
What
you're
are
much closer to home.
much closer to home now, so that's going to be good. What are you looking forward to working with out of all the tools we looked at?
I think that new set of the puzzle
Yeah,
is
those will be
nice.
fun.
And I think the jewel,
Yes, the Jewel 10 and the Jewel
5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
So if we come up with something really clever, we'll be sure to share it with you, and I hope you'll join us for those videos. Thanks again for watching, and don't forget to make the most of your fabric bits and pieces.